What's up, guys? It's the video you've been waiting for. We're going to be comparing tools native to Final Cut Pro with third-party plugins that claim to do the same thing. Do the third-party plugins work better? Do you have to spring for those third-party plugins? Or does Final Cut Pro have you covered? We're going to get to the bottom of it today. In this video, we're going to be looking at the scene removal mask. We're going to be looking at the flow transition, the new color adjustments sliders in the color inspector, and we're going to be checking out the noise reduction feature. If you guys like this video, we'll do a part 2 where I do more comparisons with other Final Cut features. All right, let's just dive into it. Let's start with that scene removal mask versus FX Factory's Keyper. If you saw my favorite plugins video where I talked about Keyper, you've seen this shot before. This is the perfect example to test Final Cut Pro's scene removal mask because the scene removal mask effect does need a frame at either the beginning or the end of the shot that does not have your subject in it. And as you can see, these two run out of frame. So this is a perfect example. Let's start by applying that scene removal mask. And we're not getting the cleanest effect here, but if you look up in my video inspector, I am referencing the first frame when I know I actually need to be referencing the last frame. Does this work better? It's not the greatest result, though. Not that long ago, anything like this would have been kind of a wow factor. Let's see if Keyper does it better. So here's the same exact shot, the same exact range of the shot. Let's drop Keyper on there. And yeah, already a way better result. But if you look in the video inspector, there are a lot more options here to fine tune your output. So obviously on this shot, Keyper is the hands down winner. Let's try it though with one more just to be safe. Again, in this shot, the subject walks out of frame at the end. Here's the scene removal mask. And again, I'm going to change the reference to the last frame. Yeah, this is not a good result. Let's see if Keyper does a better job. Okay, once again, Keyper for the win. So I think the winner is pretty clear here. If you're looking for this effect, it's definitely worth springing for the Keyper plugin. I will link to it down below. All right, let's move on to our next head-to-head challenge, which is Final Cut Pro's native flow transition versus MotionVFX's MorphCut. Both of these transitions are designed to eliminate jump cuts in your interviews, which I think is great because personally, I hate jump cuts. I think they're super lazy, and I think we should all just agree to make jump cuts unacceptable again, right? Should I put that on a t-shirt maybe? Who's with me? Let me know down in the comments if you cannot believe that jump cuts have become acceptable in video. For me, they will never be acceptable. Let's see how the flow transition works on this interview.
And I don't break eye contact with the screen.
You can find Final Cut's flow transition in the dissolve category. I'm just going to drag it and drop it here in the middle of this interview. And the key to these transitions is that you really do need to wait for them to render before you see the results.
Dive right in, and I don't break.
Okay, I think what's tough here is that Bianca is moving her arm between the two shots. Do you see that? What if I tighten up this transition? Right now it is 12 frames. I'm going to shrink it down to, let's say, 6.
To dive right in, and I don't break.
So yeah, I do think it's challenging because of the way she's moving her arm, but if you watch her face, the movement is pretty smooth. Let's try the MorphCut transition. What's interesting is that on the default length on this MorphCut transition, it is only 5 frames. Let's see how it looks. It really just kind of looks like a quick dissolve. I think the Final Cut one was better. Let's try it on another interview and see if we have better luck with both of these. So there is our interview. We're going to try to scene together here. This fire chief barely moves his hands. He's doing the old, I call it the fig leaf pose. So hopefully we'll have better luck with both of these transitions. Again, let's drop flow on here.
Can likewise cause damage.
I think that's pretty impressive. Unless you were really looking for it, I don't think you would even notice that the flow transition was applied here. Let's try the MorphCut transition. Wow, it does this whole weird ripple effect. That was That was crazy. I need to see that again.
cause damage.
I think it's pretty obvious that Final Cut Pro's flow transition is the clear winner here, but in MotionVFX's defense, I will say that this MorphCut transition is literally like 7 years old, and it makes me wonder if maybe something has changed on the Final Cut Pro app that makes this transition less effective. But I'm still going to link to MotionVFX down below because maybe this transition isn't great, but I promise you they have a ton of great plugins and templates for Final Cut Pro. If you've never poked around their website, I highly recommend you check it out after you watch this video because you're definitely going to find something you like. All right, our next head-to-head challenge is for the new color adjustments feature from Final Cut Pro in version 10.6.6 versus the White Balance plugin 2 from FCPFX. So I've got a shot here of this 911 operator, and I'm going to apply the new color adjustments tool to this clip. And you can see it is a slider-based system that works independently or can be used in conjunction with the other color correction tools to achieve the look that you want. The sliders go up to 100, but if you click the value with your mouse, hold down your mouse key and slide forward on your mouse pad, you can go all the way up to 200. And it's a pretty easy to use basic color correction tool. Our other option is something you've probably spotted a lot in my videos here on YouTube. It is the White Balance plugin 2. I picked up this color correction plugin maybe 10 years ago, forever ago, but I cannot quit it. It's actually my default effect that I have saved in Final Cut. When I hit Option E, it automatically applies to my clips. This White Balance plugin 2 is also slider based, but it does have a few extra bells and whistles built into it. For instance, this white selector is nice so that you can make sure that before you even start color correcting, you've got a good white balance going. In most cases, you can achieve the same effect with each of these tools, but I do think the White Balance 2 plugin does have some advantages. It does have that white balance tool, but the other thing is that if you look at the sliders on the White Balance plugin, the range you get is only up to 100, but look, I can take this all the way to black if I up the blacks to 100. Let's jump back over to the color adjustments feature. And here the black point, even if I bring it all the way down to -200, it really doesn't have as much range at all on these sliders. And not that you would ever really need to bring your blacks that dark, but it's nice to have that flexibility if you needed it for some reason. The other thing I really like about the White Balance plugin too is that it lives in your video inspector. I don't have to keep jumping into the color inspector every time I want to change it. The White Balance plugin 2 is literally, I think, like 20 bucks, and it is, for me, super worthwhile. It's a tool I use every single day. I will link to it down below if you want, but if you don't want to spring for it, you do have the color adjustments and all the other color correction tools in Final Cut Pro, so unless you really like what you're seeing here, you don't need it. All right, let's move on to our last head-to-head challenge, which is the noise reduction filter in Final Cut Pro versus Neat Video. Neat Video used to be the gold standard for noise reduction until Final Cut Pro introduced native noise reduction in the app. I actually had to upgrade my Neat Video yesterday because I hadn't used it in so long. So we are going to do a head-to-head comparison right now. So here's the first shot we're going to be working with. I'm going to get my viewer really big here so we can take a very good look together. This obviously is a drone shot from dusk, and yeah, it's getting some grain because of the low light conditions. You can see how grainy it is here in the sky, and even down here in these bushes, it's looking a little bit grainy as well. Let's first start by applying the noise reduction from Final Cut Pro. It is found in the Basics category in your effects browser. All right, so let's process the noise reduction. You can see here in the video inspector, the default setting is for the amount to be at medium. I'm still seeing a lot of noise here. Let us crank this up to maximum. And that definitely did something. That sky looks a lot clearer. I do feel as though the greenery down here looks a little soft under sharpness. Let's crank that up to maximum too. With the sharpness, I do feel like I'm getting some weird distortion in these paint lines on the road. Let's go down to medium. I mean, I think we get a pretty good result there. Obviously, you lose a little bit of a sharpness in your picture. These low light conditions can be very tricky, but I think that this did a pretty good job. Let's try the neat version now. So again, on the same clip, let's take one look again at the sky. It's really grainy looking. The Neat Video plugin works differently. In your video inspector, you're going to get a options window and you get an entirely new pop-up with Neat Video. And what you need to do is select part of the frame that you think needs correction. So I'm going to grab the sky. The box is green, which means I've got a big enough selection. Let's hit the Build Profile button. If you're super technical, you can really get into the nitty-gritty with the Neat Video plugin. Let's head on over to Adjust and Preview and get a look here at what the output is before we apply it. It's going to play selected frames for me so I can just kind of get a good look at the correction. I'm going to hit the Apply button and we're going to have to wait for it to render. Okay, we're done rendering. Let's take a look at this. The sky looks great. The greenery on this one also looks a little soft. But what I am noticing is that the lines in the roadway, I actually think look better on the Neat Video version. This is on the Final Cut version. Do you see how there's like the tiniest amount of vibration there? And then here is the Neat version, and those lines look a lot nicer. I mean, we're really splitting hairs here. Let's try it on one more tough video so we can maybe make a better call. Here is this shot of a band. They're actually fantastic, but I'm going to turn down their volume so I don't get demonetized here. But you can see how noisy these guys' suits are. Really grainy, low light conditions, really tough conditions. Let's apply that noise reduction from Final Cut Pro. Okay, again on the default medium level, I am still seeing a fair amount of noise here. Let's crank it up to maximum. Definite improvement on the noise reduction, but it is quite soft. Let's turn up that sharpness. I'm going to go up to high. Let's see what happens. I mean, clearly there's a huge improvement here. Let's now try the Neat Video effect. I'm going to cue up my playhead here where I see a lot of grain. Let's hit the options window. I'm going to select a really grainy part of the frame here. Let's build the profile and hit the Adjust and Preview tab. I definitely see a big improvement, but there is this button here for quality mode. What if we go high? And the preview, it looks really good. I'm going to hit the Apply button and let's render this guy out. Okay, let's take a close look here. This looks pretty good, I have to say. At first, for a second, I thought on this trombone, I was getting kind of those weird wiggly lines, but now I see it's just the reflection of these LED lights. This looks great. Hold on, let me go back to the Final Cut version. Do you see this, like how not clean it looks here? It looks really distorted and jagged, and the edges on the Neat version are much smoother. So here's what I think about this. I think that if you're being really picky, if you have a really picky client or you're working on a very nice project and you really want it to look pristine, I do think it's worth springing for Neat Video. It is not the cheapest. I think I paid about $70 for it yesterday, and I'm not sure if that's because I was just upgrading from an old version, if it would be more expensive if I was just coming in cold to it. But I do think if you needed this, the Neat Video version is superior to the noise reduction in Final Cut Pro. However, the noise reduction in Final Cut Pro works pretty well as well. So what did you guys think of these comparisons? Did you agree with my assessments? Let me know down in the comments. Do you want to see a part 2 of this video where I look at, I don't know, motion tracking, voice isolation, stabilization? What third-party plugins do you want me to compare those to? What other features do you want me to look at? Let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I picked out other videos for you. I'll see you again.